Hello. It's another interesting episode of Inside Out, and this week I think we have a topic that should be of concern to all of us as Nigerians, as young people, as mothers, as fathers, whosoever you are, even as Africans, as human beings. It should concern all of us. I was at a function recently and this came up as a topic of discussion. The fact that a lot of the older generation felt that the young people of nowadays are too promiscuous, especially the women. That was a subject of debate, and it was like a lot of the others said, "What about in your time? You had your own issues and all of that." So I was thinking about it, and I threw this open, and I thought, okay, let's bring this to Inside Out. Let's find out from the audience, the panelists, is there an increase in the level of promiscuity among the youths? Is it on the increase? Is it the same? Is it just as it used to be before? Do we have any reason to worry? That is the topic we have before us on Inside Out today. I have a panel that I think will do justice to this topic, all of them concerned in their own right. All of them I can call young people. Me, myself, a young person, you know. And so I thought, okay, let's do this our own way. Let's bring it as a topic for discourse. Let the viewers at home also make up their own minds and maybe give us food for thought. Something that we can go away with. Mr. Tosi Akonde, you're welcome. Miss Blessing Aimwemoje, a relations officer and a counselor, you're welcome to Inside Out. And next to her we have Mr. Richard Braithwaite. He's a mortgage financier. You're welcome to Inside Out. Mr. Ayodele Isaac, you're welcome. Let's start with you, Blessed. What is your opinion? Is there an increase in the level of promiscuity among youths? Are youths promiscuous? Maybe that should be the first question.
What we see today is actually different from what we had in the past. If I say the past, I'm very young too, but I'm in my 30s. And what I saw when I was growing up is what we're seeing today is way ahead.
What did you see then as compared to
then? There were some things that we didn't know as children growing up in the home as far as promiscuity. We didn't know so much about men-women relationship, as it were. All we knew was that marriage in the home, our parents, this is what should be in the marriage institution. It should be in the marriage institution. But today, on the streets, on the internet, in the school, you hear a lot of things, and you even see young people doing so many things that you wonder, where is this generation going to? Okay. So I would say there is a high level of promiscuity right now, as well as several other vices. But promiscuity is so strong, and nobody is doing anything about it, I would say.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Tosin, let me talk to you. I mean, you have worked with young people for a very long time. What is your opinion?
Well, my take is just that I admit, and I agree with those group of elders who were at that party with you, that there is a high degree of promiscuity now that is prevalent amongst the youth populace. But then, beyond that, I think it's an admission of the failure on their part too. Because I'm afraid, as a lawyer, I'll speak legalese sometimes.
Okay, go on.
The law of thought. There is this saying, the res ipsa loquitur, that is, the fact speaks for itself. When something is within the exclusive control of a party, of one person, you have no right to blame that thing. It is within your exclusive control. Every child is born a vacuum, and until and unless such a child is filled with values and systems, that is when you expect such one to turn out well and not be a letdown. So, but if these adults have got together and say, today's student, you are condemning them, it's a self-indictment exercise. Yes, they are indicting themselves that we have failed, and that is what we continue to tell them. But it's painful because they say tomorrow's leadership rests on today's youths, and I wonder what they are going to lead us with. So we should come home that after blaming or laying blame on the table of the parents and guidance teachers, the government too, that it is in the best interest of today's young person to ensure that he equips himself. They call it self-development exercises, personal development exercises, which includes being part of the audience in Inside Out, which includes being a regular audience at home of Inside Out, reading magazines, reading papers, finding out, learning. That is only time. That's the only time we can say today's young person is a far departure from the expectations of these adult people. Because sometimes I feel it's a conspiracy. that they are trying, the adult class. I feel it's a deliberate attempt to put down today's young people, and unfortunately, we are of most meant to be pitied, because it doesn't seem to be clear to us that until we help ourselves, nobody will help us.
Thank you very much. Okay, let me get your view, Richard, on this, Mr. Richard. Can I get your view on this? What do you think?
Thank you very much. I think I want to concur with my two colleagues.
Yeah.
You see, there is a generation gap somewhere, and it's now. I see this generation as very exclusive and explosive generations, but being misguided. Why are they misguided? Because they believe that there is so much in hands, and yet they are ignorant of the fact of the power they have. And what is that power? The power you have is always in you. There's a saying among the old generation: it is easy to train a child. It is very difficult to train an adulthood, because there is nothing that will be so easy for that person to learn. Now we have so many things, technology in our hands and everything, and yet people misuse the advantages that they have.
Okay, let me ask you, do you think this generation of young people are generally more promiscuous?
Yes, they are. Because with all the things they have, they tend to look at the negative side of it. Take, for example, internet. We've had a lot of issues about internet, and what do you find the youths doing at the cyber cafe? They go hacking, they go watching pornographies, and a lot of other negative affected things, which needs serious redirection. And how do we do it? The youths themselves have to address themselves, because no elder will come to the cyber cafe. No elder knows that you are visiting the cyber cafe to hack. You know it yourself. People used to say there are witches, there are wizards here and there, but I used to tell people that the witch you are hunting for is right in you, and you have to really exercise that one. And if you don't do that, by looking at yourself as a creation of God with positive goals in mind, then the evil one will suppress you. Now let's look at societal norms today. Parents have to go out very early in the morning, coming in late. Look at Nigeria, for example. Parents have to go out because of go-slow. Maybe your office is very far. Little time to take care of the children. And this goes on like that. This child grows without the father, without the mother. So you look at the situation, you look at the society that we are now, a society that does not cater for the youths. So how does the youth himself cater for himself?
Let me talk to you, Ayo. What is your view?
From my own point of view, I think even before now, it has been there. But before now, it has not been on this outrageous side.
You think it's on the
it's on the high side now.
Okay.
Amongst the youth. Very, very, very high.
Is it both male and female?
Both male and female.
Okay.
It's not particular to just one gender.
Okay.
It's on both sides. It's very, very high.
Why do you think this is?
These days, our parents don't even take it as something important to teach us our culture, to make us recognize who
you say we're losing our cultural values and our identity.
Yes.
That means we are becoming westernized.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we are now
I'm with you.
becoming too much of DSTV, internet, and all of that. So by so doing, what would you expect from us? We'll go to the internet to suffer whatever I want to say, and probably we might tell you we want to go to the internet for academic work, and we'll go there and do something else.
You're saying this is a generation that has not been guided or led, or is just doing their own thing, no identity, no direction.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Tosi, I'll come to you, Blessing.
The mass media has, like you are doing, has got a significant role to play in redirecting the fate of these so people who call young people. Pastor Sam Ademi, it was, I'm sure everybody knows him. That's the founder of Daystar. He was in my church some years back, and he was describing a youth. He said a youth is that individual who is, in most cases, he sees himself as very young, but is going somewhere as a disaster to explode. Said God, if only we could just call an assembly of young people and say we have to disprove this man of God. He means well anyway, but he has stated the fact. He wasn't even, beating about the bush. He was very emphatic that these young people who have refused to be taught too, because there are some instances he said there have been parents who want to come and teach and impart, but there are some young people, they just feel arrogant that, look, go and sit down. In our days, we now have internet. In your days, what did you have? You had jack, you had nothing. And these people come and start talking that way. Then you sit down, you wonder too. He made a point, which I've been for years, even for years, I've been trying and resolve the puzzle. Our ladies nowadays wear, they bear sensuous parts of their body, we must admit. They are daring, they come out more bold with certain types of wears. But in those days, too, at least we still see some of these things in our films.
I was just going to say,
my
mom had a mini that was like this.
Yeah.
With the afros.
No.
So
that's even for those who were in the city, in the 60s, 50s. I'm talking about in the village,
where they don't even wear clothes.
And the point I'm trying to make, the point I'm trying to make is that the men in those days, we never heard that they were like, man, I have to touch this girl.
Because there were village girls who used to actually wear nothing but beads.
You understand? Even when they are having cultural dances, you see them doing those things. Even Atilo good dancers, you see them, they bear most parts of their body, but nobody was interested. So I think it is the mindset of today's generation that has been more criminal.
Okay. We're still talking promiscuity amongst youth, and like I said before the break, you were talking about the mass media. Even the mass media lost their sense of responsibility towards modeling. I remember growing up, there was Tales by Moonlight.
That's right.
There was Mirror in the Sun, Cockcrow at Dawn, who we used to rush home to go and watch, Ripples, Village Headmaster, and I'm wondering, please, somebody should help me apart from Super Story. Is there any other? This life, and then the rest of it is foreign content. So I want to do a test case here.
Okay.
How many people would like to go to America?
Definitely. Everybody wants to.
How many people have gone to America? Why do you want to go to America?
Well,
who told you that you have not been there? Do you understand what I'm saying? You are selling an impression.
Exactly.
So the embassies are full because they believe there's no beggar in America, as shown on TV. How many people knew that Americans were very disgruntled with their past president for many years? We don't hear that part. They sell to you what they want to sell to you. How many people know that there are beggars on the streets of America, and that if you are not an American citizen, life is very hard?
From the background where you're coming, from the home you're coming. Now you were taught, let's assume that your parents taught you what is right and what is wrong, and now you choose to do the right. Now when you go to MTV, where they play all those things, you should know what to watch. I'm
a young person. I want to watch the latest musical.
Yes, I know, but you've been taught at home that some of these things are not right. So why do you go stay there? And for instance, you go on the TV, you see some films that are...
Because I'm a young person and I have to, when I get to my school or my class or whatever,
exactly.
I'm going to want to belong as well. I cannot be singing Osita or Sadebe when my mates are singing Two-Face. Because I want to be cultural.
Now, what are we saying now? Now, why teach the morals if the young people were not going to bring it out?
Excuse me? In my father's day, he knew his own latest song.
Exactly. I don't have a problem with
that. So what are you saying? What? It is what you offer people.
I think,
they bring.
Do you understand?
I think we have to draw a line. The box stops at the table of the NBC.
Yes.
There's an NBC Act. A lot of Nigerians are not aware that all these agencies were established by law. And it has been stated expressly that foreign content must not be shown to the detriment of local content.
Yes, even on radio and all of that. And
but it is the reverse that is happening.
Yes.
So if the NBC has been negligent, people have been negligent. Okay, for as long as we care, we are saying that, look, we are promoting the African consciousness. Within the African consciousness, we can still have newness. Two-Face, Two-Face is a new face. And one reason why I like the young man, I'm separating his personal life now. I'm talking about his musical content. Yeah. I'm able to appreciate the songs. He's been Protestant. Politically, there's a message.
Even M.I.
We are not just talking about...
I was listening to the words of M.I.'s song. I think what they say, the hottest rapper.
Some time ago, I was discussing with a young man. I said, how much of history do you even know? If you say you know, sit down, let us educate ourselves. If you say I'm talking about a 19-year-old boy. Bros, boom that, I know. What do you know? I said there is one musician in those days, he's talking about Lagwaja, Lagwaja, I appreciate Lagwaja songs. He said, no other musician sings the way Lagwaja sings. I said, how does Lagwaja sing? He said, Lagwaja is always criticizing women. I said, before Lagwaja, I said, first of all, Jesus said, before your father Abraham, I was. So before Lagwaja, there has been people. He said, which man? I said, do you know Eto Babeto? He said, Samuel Eto. I know him. I said, he's talking about Samuel Eto. It's funny. I'm talking about Adeolu Akinsoya. I'm not talking about Samuel Eto. Adeolu Akinsoya used to sing and lampoon women. He condemned bleaching, but he wasn't as Protestant as Fela Anikulapo was. Yeah. But he sang it just exactly like what is doing it. So a lot of these people, they think what they are seeing in their age is coming for the first time. It's not so.
That's what I was trying to say.
There will always be changes. Yes. Another guy will come that will.
Let's refine what we had in the past. There's no need drifting completely from what we had in the past. Let's just put newness to it. Let how people stick with it.
Okay, yeah, Ayo, you wanted to say something.
Concerning the issue of NBC, mass media or whatever, those people, they are there to make money.
The NBC is not there to make money.
It's a regulatory body. He's talking about the enterprises
but
of
you
the
don't
TV
make
radio
to the
station.
detriment of the people. Section 45 of the Nigerian Constitution is very, very clear.
Because you are a legal person. But how many of the people out there knows that? That is the thing we're talking about.
That's
now,
you are
saying they should go and listen to Osadebe. Probably you were born in Ibadan or somewhere.
I was born in Lagos.
You want to tell me somebody that is at this new age born in Lagos?
Yes.
He does not even know who Dennis Osadebe is.
He doesn't.
He does not even understand what he's saying, or how do you want him to listen to Dennis Osadebe's?
That is it. That is the duty of the mass media. Look, I read mass communication before I became a lawyer. And I know that some of the theories that are being propagated for a continent like Africa, we don't need to pursue the same agenda as the West.
Let me finish.
It has failed us and it will always be counterproductive.
Let me finish now. Not just the mass media. You are blaming the mass media.
Yes.
Fine.
We said they're part of the problem.
Part of the problem.
Yes.
Most of our parents are home. Most of them, they don't even know Dennis Osadebe.
No. I disagree with you. Yeah. I disagree with you. How it depends on the age.
Listen, there are some parents at home that they don't
I know Osadebe.
So you might know Osadebe, but I can assure you that if you go out there, you ask most people.
Here's what my thoughts are: that young people must always be allowed to be young people.
Yes.
And that means they will go with what is happening.
But within the bounds, within the permissive bounds.
Yes, but you see, who creates the permissive bounds?
It is the mores. I'm talking about the norms.
It is a collection of society.
Yes.
That creates what is permissive.
Yes.
And what the young person does is follow what he sees.
Agatha, we have to establish a fact. African society has always been communal. It is not individualistic as we presently have built it. You know, we have built it around each one to the Israel. Each one to himself, God for all of us. It is not so. In Africa, we are interested genuinely in the interest of the other person. That's why when we were young, if we were beaten, my mother will tell you the right approach to ask your child is, what did you do?
Yeah.
Don't say who beat you.
But now we ask who beat you.
Now we ask who beat you. We are biased already. There are sentiments. And when you want to develop genuinely, you have to detach yourself from sentiments. That is why we are saying today's young person must understand where we are coming from. If you are going to lead us in Africa, you must understand our history. You must understand our stereotypes. You must understand our feelings. You must know what we are talking about when we talk about national evolutions. In Europe, they don't joke with it. That's why for every statute that defines the European community, they go back to Rome because they know that's where their history started from. So we are saying the same thing about Africa. When in Yoruba, for example, you talk about Ife, Oduduwa, or Mokara, people should be able to do that. And my pain is we've lived a life of hypocrisy, as if condemn what is African entirely. It's not so. There are certain things about Africa that are wonderful.
There are many things about Africa that are wonderful.
And there are so many things that are coming from the West that are condemnable. Yes. Even I found out when I read the Bible to a certain extent that Jesus must have been a tribalist. Because he told that woman, I'm coming somewhere. He told that woman, he said, for I have not been sent but to the lost house of Israel. He differentiated, you are a Samaritan, I'm an Israelite. He had the woman, so the woman had to say, even the crumbs that fall from the master's table, I will grab it. and he said, oh, never have I seen such a woman of faith. Go, your daughter is healed. So these are the things we are talking about. We have to redirect the consciousness of because tomorrow's leadership rests in our hands. What annoys me most is with the pinch of salt, they take African values. They say, I can't do it. And you know, there's something about the law.
It's not as good as the Western.
They say an adult coming, they can't collect the thing from him or her. They say an adult standing, and they are seated. They cannot stand up. For as long as they are concerned, it is my comfort that matters. It's my life. It's a life. It's annoying.
I still go back to the home.
Yes.
So that's where every one of us came out from. Now, if I am taught to love myself at home, and I'm also shown love at home by my parents.
Yes. To have self-worth and self-value.
Know who you are as an individual. You don't need somebody to tell you you're beautiful as a lady before you know you are. When you wake up every morning, no matter how you look, no matter how somebody else have told you your nose looks like, you appreciate that nose because you're not going to be doing anything about it anyway. It's not going to come off. It's going to be like that except you go for surgery and all of that, and probably you come out worse. So I wake up, I look at myself in the mirror, and I tell myself, Blessing, you are looking good.
Yes.
Because I'm coming from a home where I have been made to feel good about myself. So it will be tough for a man out there that wants to just mess me up.
Before, virginity was celebrated. Now, I actually heard there was a girl who came to tell me that how the guy she wants to marry told her to go and lose her virginity first, that it's not ready to experiment, and then come back. I'm serious.
We meet a lot of that. We meet a lot.
So I mean, where are we coming from? If you have been keeping this and saying, you know what, till my wedding day, and then the man, who is sick? Is it the man?
Both.
Both are sick.
Both are sick.
Both are sick.
Yes.
I think there is this problem with
because it's then our value is then there's something wrong.
We have a misguided value now.
Yes.
People are looking at things from a negative point of view.
Yes.
Somebody says, go and lose your virginity. Common sense itself, I've told you that this man is just not interested in my source. Because that's your source. Your virginity as a woman, as a lady, as a girl, is your source.
When you asked the question, you said, who is sick? The general consensus are both. I don't think the lady was sick. The lady is sane, for God's sake.
Yeah,
she's sane.
Yeah, she's doing the right thing.
Okay, fine. I was private.
Don't stop to the
but a lot of us we did not have that education. In fact, as a woman, they'll say if you sit next to a boy, you will get pregnant. Nobody explained anything to you, but we believed such things. And
I would say that in that instance, blame our parents that told us don't sit beside a man. That's where because something will happen. That wasn't the best. They could have told us the truth.
Yes.
Bear it out and believe that as they are teaching us, we will be able to. They should believe in our judgment that we'll be able to choose what is right after being taught what is right. They shouldn't lie to us. Because
now this generation that knows the truth, how are they using it?
No, they weren't taught. They didn't have parents
to teach them.
They don't know Jack. They don't know nothing.
Okay, so their own is just exploration.
Exactly, and they learn from the wrong places. Their peers that are supposed to be. It's like somebody having a house help, little that is supposed to be helped. That child is supposed to be helped, and it's the help that you have in your house to help your children. That's stupid. I'm not saying don't have house helps, but I'm saying you can't leave the training of your children to somebody else. Train them, teach them what is right, tell them the truth. Because if you don't teach them, they will learn it outside there, and they may learn the wrong thing.
You know what? If the parents go out early, their number one, all the money you are making is to train those children. So at the end of the day, if you have made all that money and worked very hard, and you have children who are totally useless, then what have you really gained at the end of the day? Let's take a break, please. And we're still talking promiscuity among youth. If there's this level of promiscuity and loss of values, then our parents have failed somewhere. I was talking about how in those days your parents would look at you to deliver a message. If they have told you when you get to your neighbor's house, don't eat there, and then they ask you what do you want to eat, you turn and look. When you see that eye, we're not hungry, ma, thank you very much, ma. Even if you are dying of hunger. Now if you are looking at it, you say, Mommy, what's wrong with your eye? Auntie, I want to eat rice. You know, there are a lot of things that seem to be wrong. One of the major things that came out from, a pre-recording discussion is the dressing. The fact that, especially with the women, their dressing is provocative. And Tosin made a very valid point. I'm going to ask, is the dressing suggestive of the level of promiscuity?
The dressing is part of it, let's say 50%.
Why do you say so?
For instance, as a guy,
yes,
I'm out there and I'm just sitting, maybe chilling with my friends.
Yes.
And there's this lady that will just walk past me.
Yes.
Wearing a short gown.
Yes.
Possibly no underwear. Or you can
that is your assumption.
Not my assumption. What
you can see, because you are a man and you're physical.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably maybe at that time I don't have anything much on my mind to think about. I'll just follow her up and that would be the case.
So you think it leads to the level of promiscuity,
yes,
because they said that is the number one blame.
Yes.
What's your opinion?
Yes, I agree with him.
Yes.
Just like Tosin had said, you see, African culture. Now, in those days, there used to be some level of exposure of the bodies. And the men in those days don't really count on it as being promiscuous. They don't lust after the ladies. After all, there were times when they were wearing all these jigidas and all these things.
Yeah, the beads.
Little things to cover them up. And I have not heard that in the history of our culture that there was a man that just saw out of the 1,001 ladies that passed with the same jigida and grabbed one of them in one corner or got crazy. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, you see, what you are made to believe tends to rule your life. Western culture has made it clear to us that when you see a lady with all these kind of things swaying in front of
swaying her hips, as they put in the novels, and
there is an intention or a motive behind it.
Yes.
And as a real man, you must go after her. That is the Western culture we are so much exposed to, and which we believe that as nowadays guys, nowadays ladies, you need to pursue that cause.
So even the woman are you saying even the woman who is wearing the dress has the same intention to attract the men?
She may not have the same intention, but because it is what is generally made to believe, they tend to follow up it.
Can I look at it from the point of the guys? What is wrong with them? Can somebody tell me what's wrong with the guys? The same discipline a lady should have, the guys should have. For goodness sake, I finished from the University of Ibadan. When I was doing my undergraduate years, during my undergraduate years, there was a particular time in the year that we had series of rape cases.
Yeah.
Now, let me shock you. The Hajias were raped. Now tell me, which part of their bodies did they expose?
That's just it.
What is wrong with the guys? Are we saying that we don't have some guys that no matter what you wear, they won't go? We do have some that have their morals intact. they are disciplined. Now, I'm not saying what they do in the closet. That's none of my business. What I'm saying is that must it be everything is because you will keep seeing. Let me shock you. The world is getting worse and worse. I'm not saying it's a lost cause, but if that is your reason for doing what you're doing, you will keep getting into trouble. And someday you will be permanently lost. Yeah. And nobody will be able to help you. Okay. So do something about what you are seeing.
Let me tell you what I find fascinating about the idea of our culture here. Yes, we're becoming maybe westernized and everything. You know what I find fascinating? The same kind of dressing which our young women are copying and the men claim is causing problems here. It's probably worse times 2 abroad. The same Nigerian man will go abroad and would know that if it so much as touches that woman's shoulder, he will be she'll have him arrested.
Exactly.
And so he can exercise self-restraint there. It's like obeying the law. We break all the laws here, and once you cross the border, you become disciplined. The second you drive back into Nigeria, you become totally unruly.
Exactly.
So is it that is it because we believe it is permissible, it is allowed? Yes, Tosin.
Well, I believe so much in first impressions.
Yes.
First impression counts, though it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But it counts.
Yes, I agree.
Why, during the time when all the universities were causing a revolution, that there was this mantra: dress as you would like to be addressed.
True.
Okay, so to that extent, I want to say that provocative dressing is not even in your best interest. You have to dress formally. If you can't dress formally, you can still be casual and still appeal to the average man. You know, the test of reasonableness, that's what they say in law. The test of a reasonable man. Okay, why would you want to create, you know, two people can commit an offense. That's what a lot of people don't know. You think it's only must be one person. That could be conspiracy. You could even do it without knowing that. Why would you want to arouse a man? Why would you dress like that? And you don't know that. It's been proven medically that men are aroused. If you want us to go into medical science, we can. They say men are aroused more
by what they see. Yeah.
Okay, so why, if you know that, and if you don't know that, you should be told, so that you don't dress provocatively. You don't dress provocatively. So that's the much I can take on that.
I want to look at promiscuity. Some of you have said the parents. I think this young man is really hitting the nail on the head. Most of our parents there, they have the promiscuity attitude. Then I have even some people, they have 4 husbands, 7 husbands with different children. In our education, we have lost the value. Even some teachers are carried away. And look at the society, mass media again. I discovered that in Nigeria, this promiscuity, the dressing, if you don't dress like most of our own video. I remember I read something when a woman said he can decide to pose naked if she can be paid any amount. Now the mass media, they glorify this, and that is why you see a lot of confusion, a lot of problems today. Many youths, you see a girl who wants to get 5 boyfriends, a young man wants to get 10 girlfriends. This is a polluted society. The government again, look at our senators. Senators having 5 to 6 girlfriends. They will keep their wives in abroad. The family we are coming from, we have 2 types of family. We have disciplined family and indisciplined family. If you come from disciplined family, you must be disciplined in every ramification. But if you come from undisciplined family, you are your own. Then we have the societal problem, the friends you are associating with. That's one of the problems today. And your environment. Your environment is another pollution. So these are the issues we have. So we need to address it in the right direction.
One of the traditional definitions of what is news is whatever the editor says is news. Look at that omnibus powers arrogated to who is an editor. News is whatever the editor says is news. And I think that definition still stands till today. So that is why when so much has been given unto you, so much is expected from you. So you see the Nigerian Guild of Editors and so many other media bodies, professionals, trying to get together to arrest the situation. It is their duty. They must do it. We are gatekeepers of information. And you know who a gatekeeper is? God help you. Go to a rich man's house and say you want to enter, and the gate man doesn't like your face. The dogs will come after you. So if the editors and journalists, broadcasters, everybody that is a stakeholder in the media says, no, this is not good, we won't. Look at what happened in America. I'm sure how many of you are aware of the Colorado shooting, mass shooting, that happened several years ago. It was after that song. It was after that unfortunate event. Clinton had to go. When children just got themselves together, having watched a movie, and said, look, let's start killing. Bah, 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 bah. Clinton went there when he was in power. And after that, that was when that song came out. I know I can be what I want to be. If I work hard in it, I'll be where I want to be. That was when the concept of music changed in the US. No longer violence. Now they were talking about music with messages. And that is what we want you to understand. So if the contemporary music cannot offer you enough, except what is Coco, or otherwise, go back to the Osade base, please. Go back to the Sikira and the Baristas. Go back to Fela Nicola Kokuti.
Okay.
I would love to take a verse from the scripture in Ecclesiastic chapter 1 and in verse 10. The Bible there says, the things that you currently see are the things that have been. It says there is no new thing under the sun. Now, all the things that you've said are correct. But I want to put a point across to all of us that I believe that the major problem with the issues we are discussing today had to do with attitude. If we check our attitude right, we will get the solution to this problem. These things have been there. And I will also want us to spare our parents. Our parents have little or no blames, because you can only take the horse to the stream. You can't force the horse to drink the water. So we've got to spare our parents. And so I had to say, quoting some of the law, we understood that our constitution is faulty. Anything we pick out from that constitution, therefore, must be faulty. The NBC and the media, even though they have their role to play, we've got to be careful as we quote the law of this nation. We are believing God that the laws will be checked. If we get our attitude right, I'm telling you, this problem will be solved.
Yes, I was just going to say that his last take on the Constitution is not entirely right. You see, as a matter of fact, that part of the Constitution that I quoted, it must be in every normal constitution of every normal country in a normal world. Section 45 of Nigeria's Constitution is called derogation clause. It could be another section in the American Constitution. It says in the interest of the public, public good, public welfare, public health, public safety and morality, certain individual rights which have already been given to you and considered to you will be curtailed. For example, you will not say because they told you you have a right to freedom of movement, you now say you must move into a place like this, where we are having a decent gathering, we are having intellectual cross-fertilization of ideas. You now say because section 37 says I have section 42 says I have the right to freedom of movement, I want to enter into this place right now. We will bar you from entering.
We have our own part to this, though our parents also, they have the kind of like duty of giving you advice and telling you this, because the way I grew up, my mother would always tell you, don't go this close to a lady, and even my friends would tell me, how do you do that? You just sleep in the same room with a woman for like a week and nothing would happen and stuff like that. Sometimes they look at me like maybe you're abnormal or something, but I tell them that's the way I grew up. Recently, yesterday, I was walking, I wanted to use the pedestrian bridge, and then the lady in front of me, she was wearing this I'm aware.
What is the meaning of I'm aware?
That's the trouser that gets here. They call it I don't know what they call it.
Low rise.
Is it low waist?
Low waist.
Yeah, you know, normally when you tell them your clothes is shown or your panties, they'll tell you I'm aware. So
that's a new one. I'm aware. Okay.
So but instead I just walked up to her, and the next thing I said was, sorry, please can you pull your top down at the back? And she was like, thank you. So I just walked past her. But now looking at her, maybe probably she just wanted to wear it because that's the latest. That's the latest trousers for the ladies and stuff like that. So I think the parents themselves and the children, they have to do something to themselves to please check themselves up.
If you want to do evil, you have a reason.
Reason, yeah.
If you want to be good, you have reason. That, like he said, parents will teach you. For those that teach, sorry for those ones that have taught their children and some of them still turn out to be bad. If you have 5, at least 1 will be good, will follow what you have taught. So I'm talking to us, we are all youth here. Choose to do the right thing. We can't be as old as this and not know what is right from what is wrong.
Yes.
Like he said, what they say words are cheap. Reason words are cheap is when the right action is not backed with it. Now, but I know that when you are told something over and over again, especially if that thing is good, it should stick in you, and you start acting it out.
Yeah.
So the choice is still yours.
I think we are neglecting the spiritual aspect of the mind. The way the mind and the soul are formed, the way they function to reflect in our character. So if we go back to the drawing board, I think we need to bend a little bit, because some of us, especially the new generation, we are drifting away from the spirituality aspect. So I think our mind, in fact, the generation of the character of this generation is very appalling. So I think everybody needs to be a little bit spiritual, so that our mind, because our mind is something that is very delicate. So I want us, in the process of finding solution to this problem, I haven't talked about the media, the family, the pressure group and all that. We should concentrate, we should pay attention to the mind.
Thing.
How is self-discipline is not just about what you learn from your parents or whatever. The spirituality of an individual also matters, because what we exhibit as a character comes from our mind.
I'm not supporting provocative dressing, and at the same time, I'm not buying the notion that it is a reason for promiscuity. Not in any way. If you saw a man going with a bag of money and the bag happened to be open, exposing the money, does that give you any reason to insert your hand into that bag and steal money, justifying that character with stealing? If you went to a beach in any western parts of this world, you see the women wearing bra and pant only. If you happen to find yourself there, that means you become a serial rapist. In the Bible character of Joseph, we can see that due to self-discipline, he maintained that his master has authority over him, and that authority was his wife. There was no Bible commandment in those days giving Joseph a strict order that he shouldn't touch his master's wife, but he was self-disciplined to the extent that he resisted his master's leprous proposal. Yes. So I don't see somebody being philandrous as incitation of dressing. It's just how you train yourself. Your mentality gives you what you want.
Thank you. I think a lot has been said here. There's a problem with the home where we're coming from, I think. That is like a sort of a conclusion. We have run out of time, but I want you guys to give it last lines. This is important because we're talking about young people. We're talking about our future. We're talking about our now, not even our future.
My simple conclusion is this. I'll just pick it from the scripture, which says the fear of God is the beginning of
wisdom.
To fear God,
everything else
will be okay with
it. Thank you very much. Yes. Richard.
The Bible said, God himself said, man is good. Let's look at ourselves. Ask yourself that question. Like she said the other time, go to the mirror. Take a very good look at yourself and ask yourself that same question. Am I really good?
To the ladies, you're beautiful any which way you look, physically. Don't let somebody else tell you something else. Don't let anybody deceive you. And whatever you have to work on as per your character, go ahead, do it. You know what is right, do it. And for the guys, please, be disciplined. And remember, look at those ladies. They may have been your sister. They can even be your sister. They can be whoever to you tomorrow. Probably your wife tomorrow. So how would you treat her now? Love yourself generally, every one of us. Let's love ourselves. Treat the other person well, so that you can live in a better society.
Let's go, King.
You said it all. What we must not lose sight of the fact that this is a fact. That thing you want to experience and that's leading you to promiscuity is what you will still come and do tired.
And start to say I have a headache.
You know, no, it's burdensome. So just wait. There is something about time, and events. If you do it before the right time, you'll miss it. But if you wait and you wait well and you now do it when you're supposed to do it, you will enjoy it. And at the heart of it all is teaching. And if nobody teaches you, please teach yourself.
I don't think we could have put all of the, all your last lines were fantastic. I don't think there's anything extra for me to really add. I'd like to say a very big thank you. It's important. One of the things I'd like to say about that is that for women especially, is to realize your feeling. I think for human beings, that you are wonderfully and beautifully made. You have value, self-worth. I think even as Nigerians, we have lost it. That is why you can see people, you can see dead bodies on the road, ritual killings, and everything else. It is self-worth, valuing life that is essentially missing from us as human beings. If you value life, you won't rape somebody. If you value life, you would not, if you value yourself, value the other person, you would not expose yourself unduly. You would carry yourself with dignity. That at the end of the day, you will know that you are worth something. So a very big thank you to you for making this topic what it was. To my wonderful audience, thank you. To my sponsors, Voltic Water, a very big thank you. Rare and Unique for my clothes, D'accord Salon for my hair. Until next week when we come again talking about something else equally as interesting. Finish it for me now.
Bye-bye.
And see you next week. Bye.